Hey everybody. Ooh, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna go live, but I was like, let me do a live because otherwise, either pre-recorded or live. But I'm like, I don't want to do a pre-recorded right now. I'm working on a longer video. So hey everybody, I see everybody coming through. The only Anji, Nebi, Aduko. Thank you guys. Totally not wasn't planning to go live, but like I said, I was like, I'd rather do it live. I want to talk about a situation that is disturbing. So back in September, I talked about this. This is a video from September about a congressional staff who basically set herself on fire. Okay. I talked about this in September. So that's why I have the video clip there. We're going to watch it, and it's just a crazy clip. Let me know if you guys can hear the sound too. Congressional staffer for U.S. Rep Gonzales, I think it's Tony Gonzalez, doused herself in gasoline before she caught fire, report says. County Medical Examiner's Office has not yet ruled on Regina Santos-Aviles' cause and manner of death. This is a very bizarre situation. So Regina Santos-Aviles, who was a congressional staffer for the U.S. Rep Tony Gonzalez, doused herself in gasoline before she caught on fire, according to reports from Uvalde Leader News. According to the Uvalde Volunteer Fire Department, report obtained by the Uvalde Leader News, police told responding firefighters that Santos-Aviles had doused herself in gasoline and was ignited to flames. Apparently, her last words were she didn't want to die. A staffer for Texas Rep Tony Gonzalez, who burned to death in her backyard, set herself on fire with gasoline, according to firefighters. But her family still insists it was an accident. Regina Santos-Aviles doused herself in gasoline. So according to the report, this is her. The 35-year-old mother then ignited in flames, adding that burning gasoline cans were extinguished when firefighters arrived. Officials did not say whether she deliberately started the fatal blaze, but the police department said it does not suspect anybody else was involved in her death or there was any foul play. So this is her, beautiful, gorgeous woman. I don't understand what happened. I think we have a lot of questions, clearly. Officials did not say whether she started this deliberately or like what happened exactly. Santos-Aviles was found alive and still ablaze by her own mother around 9:30 p.m. This was at night, and was helicoptered to a nearby hospital. Despite the report of an apparent self-immobilization, I think that's how you say that, her family remained adamant that whatever happened was accidental. This is her house. This is her. I think that's her husband and her child. The picture's blurred clearly. Her last words, I don't want to die. Santos-Aviles was alone when the fire started. So apparently the fire was started alone. She was alone. Home surveillance obtained footage by investigators showed. She's the mother of an 8-year-old boy, full of life and devoted to bettering her community. I don't know, guys. Something don't sound right. She started working in the Gonzales office as a regional district director in 2021, according to her LinkedIn profile. The investigation into her death remains ongoing. Law enforcement said it could be weeks until a final report from a medical examiner is ready. This is a sus story, I will say that much. But I don't know. How do they know she did it to herself if she was alone? I think they had surveillance, wondering if somebody pressured her. But the family is adamant that it was an accident. How would they know that? Did they see the footage? Exactly. It's a sus story, guys. It really is. September 2025, right? So then let me share with you guys something else. I saw this today and I posted it on my community wall. I said, girl, this is so weird. This is the guy. Okay, this guy right here, apparently he was having an affair with her. Okay. And some text messages have been revealed and whatnot.
All right. Nebby, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, Nebby. Y'all, if you've been gifted, put some hearts in the chat. I don't expect a lot of people here today because, kind of random live. But it was like a situation that's bothering me. So the woman, Regina Santos-Aviles, died September 2025. That was her, after setting herself on fire in what authorities ruled an S. Okay. Gonzalez said the relationship happened in 2024 and called it a lapse in judgment, that he has since reconciled with his wife. The situation has sparked a formal ethical investigation in Congress over whether Gonzalez violated rules that prohibits relationships between members of Congress and their staff. Why does there need to be an investigation if we've already determined that they had a relationship and he's calling it a lapse in judgment? Like, okay, I mean, yeah, you have the investigation, but it's like, you already know what happened. Gonzalez denies having anything to do with the woman's death. And says that the two had not communicated for about a year before she died. Interesting. Listen to this.
Direct, Pags, I made a mistake, and I had a lapse in judgment, and there was a lack of faith, and I take full responsibility for those actions. Since then, I've reconciled with my wife, Angel. I've asked God to forgive me, which he has, and my faith is as strong as ever. When you make mistakes like this, it's never easy. It humbles you, but it's important to kind of work through it all. I look forward to the ethics committee starting an investigation. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to provide all the facts and all the details that lead to exactly what occurred in the entire situation. Very, very direct, Pags. I made a mistake.
So we have that interview, by the way, but let's look into Gonzalez staffer's final moments revealed in a news report. What did he just say? That he hadn't talked to her in a year before she died, right? Before she committed S.
Tonight into the growing scandal surrounding South Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez.
A previously blocked police report giving us new details about the death of the woman Congressman Gonzalez was allegedly having an affair with. Regina Santos-Aviles was a staff member of Tony Gonzalez. She died last fall when she took her own life by setting herself on fire at her home in Uvalde. And new tonight, an official police report about her death is revealing shocking new details.
We have team coverage tonight. Yami Virgin will tell us about some newly released and provocative text messages from Congressman Gonzalez. But we start with the I-Team's Jordan Elder, who's live with what's included.
Girl, that's what Bill Clinton said. It was a lapse in judgment. These lapse of judgment. We got people up in these political offices having a lot of lapses in judgment. Okay? What the hell? All right? Let's keep going.
Included in that police report, Jordan.
Well, in a surprise move, the city of Uvalde has released a police report in the death of Regina Santos-Aviles. The department told us it planned to follow an attorney general ruling, which allowed these records to be sealed. But now they've changed course. New details about the final moments of Regina Santos-Aviles, a regional district director for Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who died by suicide in September. Police reports confirming the medical examiner's ruling. Santos-Aviles set herself on fire. The first officer on scene spoke with her as she lay burned on the front porch. She told him she'd learned her husband was cheating with her best friend and that she'd poured gasoline on herself and ignited it. Records show she may have called 911, telling dispatchers, quote, "I don't want to die." After she was rushed to the hospital, officers collected video evidence, including footage she sent a friend showing her pouring gasoline on herself. Home security video captured her alone in the backyard before using a torch lighter to ignite the fire. Police interviewed friends who had been with her hours earlier. They said she seemed sad, but not suicidal. She'd left her car and belongings at their home, planning to return later. One friend told investigators rumors of an affair had strained her marriage, but no details were included. Records show Uvalde police asked about the rumors that she may have been pregnant. The medical examiner says there were no findings of that. Congressman Gonzalez is not mentioned in these documents. The big question now is, why release the records? In December, the Attorney General ruled they could remain sealed, writing that the family's privacy outweighed the public's interest. Thursday, Congressman Gonzalez posted on X calling for the report to be released. Friday, police told us they were standing by the Attorney General's decision. We've asked what changed, but haven't gotten a response. An attorney for Regina's husband says they were not notified and did not request this release. The political implications of all of this are still unclear. Gonzalez faces a primary election next week, and several of his opponents are calling on him to resign. In a post this weekend, he again said that this is a coordinated political attack. For the News 4 I-Team, I'm Jordan Elder.
All right, Jordan, thank you for that. Yami Vidhin joins us now with a look at late-night text messages exchanged between Congressman Gonzalez and his late staffer, Regina Santos-Aviles, in May of 24. The texts were sent to us by her widower, Adrian Aviles.
According to the forensic extraction of the cell phone messages, they belong to Regina Aviles Gonzalez and a contact named TG. According to Adrian Aviles, who is the staffer's widower and his attorney, TG is Tony Gonzalez. The messages were sent between 12:15 and 12:54 a.m. In one message, TG writes, quote, "Then send me a sexy pic." Later, TG asks, quote, "Favorite position?" and replies with something we cannot share on TV. Aviles Santos then replies, quote, "Never," and later writes, "This is too far, Tony." We showed the messages to San Antonio attorney Tim Maloney and asked where the legal line is when a boss allegedly communicates this way with a subordinate.
Bottom line is you don't send text at 4 a.m. to a person who works for you. You don't send text of a suggestive sexual nature. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, by the way, you don't shit where you eat. This would be a good example of that, right? You don't shit where you eat.
Matter whether or not you can put a spin on it. It doesn't really matter whether or not you can explain it away. The bottom line is, sadly, that the texts speak for themselves.
Maloney says in today's workplace, any personal communication from someone in a position of authority will closely be scrutinized. Congressman Tony Gonzalez represents Texas's 23rd congressional district. We reached out to the congressman for comment regarding the messages contained in the forensic report. As of airtime, we have not received a response. At 6 p.m., we will have more of these text messages and also a post on X, which may have pushed the widower to finally releasing the messages.
Wow.
Yami Virgen, News 4 San Antonio.
News 4.
Let me stop right here. Okay, let's go to another report, and then I'm going to see about us going to, full interview of the husband of Rep. What?
You know, it's pretty clear.
That is him. That was her husband, and he's in the pictures with her too. Oh my God, I didn't even know they had an interview. All right.
In some of my messages that I put out there, the guy's a predator. You know, he's continuing to lie to the American people, his constituents of Texas, Texas 23, the district.
He just called him a predator. But I thought, okay, so if I remember the first report is that the husband was having an affair. And so then she was distraught about that. She set herself on fire. They were kind of both cheating on each other. Is that what it sounds like? Because that's what I heard. But anyways.
And that's, I'm at this point, quite frankly, I was exhausted and tired of all of the running around lying that he continued to do. Oh, absolutely. And that's why we went the direction that we went. We had a cellular dump on the phone. So it's forensically proven that it is him. We did all forensics analysis on everything. So there's no way that he can say that it's AI, that we're lying, that we're making anything up. We're essentially saying that, this is real. This is the person that he is. He lied to everybody about it. And, I put it out there for everybody to see, against my want to actually do it. I have an 8-year-old son that I have a duty to protect. And, by me coming out and exploiting this, I put him at risk as well, in the future, being able to see all this and putting it out there on Front Street. My son has an image of his mother, and I don't want that to be tarnished, and I don't want to be the fault of it either. I found out about it, I guess, I couldn't actually, I could probably tell you the date. It was June 31st. May 31st. It was the night that I found out about it. It was a Friday night. Yeah, we've been on and off for 21 years. When you know somebody for that long, you get to know their tendencies, and she had been acting a little off for the past couple of days, and I don't know. So I've never been a person to look through her phone. We had an open relationship. Our as far as like our devices, we had an open relationship. I could leave my phone down, and she could leave her phone down, and she has the passcode. I have the passcode. There was no hiding anything, and she had been acting a little strange, and that's when I felt like I needed to go through her phone, and that's when I found out about everything that was going on. Look, I'm not saying he's the one that went out there and did it himself, and I'm not saying that, but yeah, he played a role in it. He predatorized my wife, and he pushed her to the sense of having an affair. I mean, I made.
Y'all hear that? Okay. Man.
That evident in the messages that are released. Actually, it makes me even angrier because, again, he's deflecting, and the man has no values. He runs his whole campaign on family values, and he runs everything, saying that he's some family man. He's actually quite of a sick man. I have all the messages that shared between them two, and the things that I just released a tip of the iceberg of the things that this man was telling her. I released just what was enough information for the people to understand who this person and who they were dealing with. If I were to release everything, again, my biggest thing is protecting my son. I will not release, the salacious messages that went back and forth much deeper than what and much more graphic rather than what I presented to the American people. I've already done my part, as far as letting people know who he is. That's up to the again, Aaron, this is not a political thing for me. I want everybody to know that I don't care 2 cents about the whole political matter behind it. I don't care that, it's 2 seats in I don't care about all of that. I care about facts. I care about what he has done and how he's continued to lie on Regina's name,
I agree. This isn't about the politics. It's like, if he played a part in her mental health, her device, this was her boss, guys. This was her boss. He knows better. And somebody who violated any kind of ethical, standard in any way, you don't date. You don't date your staff. You don't. You don't have affairs. You don't date. Like, you just don't do that. And this is a very important seat, right? So yeah, forget the politics. It's a simple fact that anybody who is in a position, whatever side it is, and they're in a position of leadership, should not be doing this.
He's sitting there and he's bold-faced lied about it, about everything. And to say that the facts are going to come out, I would bet that he does not want me to release all of the messages that show how gross of a man he is. I shook his hand. Yes, we met each other one time.
Yeah.
Of course, as y'all know, I'm from Uvalde, Texas.
It is a little backwards too. So in her dying declaration, she said that she did it because this man right here, her husband, was cheating on her, right? She did say, that's what I heard too. And he's up there talking about politicians. The politician also cheated. Like, they were kind of cheating on each other. That's what it sounds like to me. So there are no, like, what's the word? Safe people. But at the same time, if her mental health was not well and she was working side by side with this guy, and he's telling us over here, oh, I stopped talking to her like a year after, something's not right if those text messages aren't aligning with the dates. I'm not saying this guy is a saint. Clearly, there's maybe more to this. Clearly.
One of my best friend's daughter was taken away in the Rob incident. So at that funeral, Regina had texted me that, she was going to be showing up. Tony was doing his, making an appearance to, whatever, showing his respects. And he walked up, and it was a quiet setting. We were inside of a church. you know, I shook his hand, he shook mine, and that was the length of our introduction and to each other. Absolutely. Yeah, of course. This is, you know, this is not only about her, but this is also about my son and showing my son that, you know, we stand up to cowards. This guy's a coward, and we're going to stand up to him, and we're not going to allow him to bully us like he's bullied everybody else and continue.
I just hope that, like, I get where he's coming from, but I hope that he also tells his son if he also played a part in this too. And what I mean by that is that if he was cheating and that was her dying declaration, that would be disturbing too. Okay. Mm.
To lie about it. I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to sit aside anymore and allow that to happen anymore. I think in his heart, he didn't believe that I would have come out because, you know, of course I was trying to protect the name of Regina. And of course, you know, as well as protect my son, that he doesn't have to further see this in the future and go on YouTube and, you know, Google her name, or, you know, my son, he truly dearly misses his mother every day, and he looks her up every day. My son is just nonstop talks about his mother.
That's so sad. How do we know? It's because that was the dying declaration. In her dying declaration, that's what she said. That's what they reported in the police report. So unless that wasn't it and it was written in there, I don't know if he's going to speak to that or anything like that. We can go back to that report. Y'all can see it.
You know, and I felt like that was my duty to him and her, as you know, as the situation said. Oh, they had an inseparable bond. They had an inseparable bond. Yes, yeah, yeah. Regina loved them very much. Well, you know, there was one thing, you know, I shared with one of your producers earlier, Aaron. You know, my son, you know, he no longer has a mother, and you know, the other morning we were having breakfast, and you know, just day before yesterday, and you know, he grabs a particular Gatorade out of the refrigerator, and it's a pink one, and he's like, you know, we had just gotten them, and he was like, "Oh, you got pink ones?" And I was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. That'll drink the pink ones." And he's like, "No, I'm gonna drink these. These were mom's favorite color Gatorades." And, you know, it tore me to pieces. I had to go to the restroom and shed a tear because, you know, most kids get to wake up in the morning and kiss their mothers good morning and get to say goodbye before they go to school. My son now has to remember his mother through a color of a Gatorade. And his memory of her, you know, is through objects, smells, and things now. And it's not being able to actually have her in his life anymore, you know, so it's heartbreaking to me. It's heartbreaking.
That's pretty sad, actually. Let me go back, okay? 1 second, guys. 1 second. One second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so I want to make sure we didn't mishear that, but that's what they said. Hold up. This is when they reported her dying declaration right here. Look.
You can put a spin on it. It doesn't really matter whether or not you can explain it away. The bottom line is, sadly, that the texts speak for themselves.
Maloney says in today's workplace, any personal communication from someone in a position of authority will closely be scrutinized. Congressman Tony Gonzales represents Texas's 23rd congressional district. We reached out to the congressman for comment regarding the messages contained in the forensic report. As of airtime, we have not received a response. At 6 p.m., we will have more of these text messages and also a post on X, which may have pushed the widower to finally releasing the messages.
Hold up.
Yami Virgen.
I want to make sure I'm not making it up. It was her dying declaration. I'm pretty sure we heard that. Let me go back a little bit in the transcript. Okay, because I want to make sure we're getting that right. Dying declaration. Is this not it? Where did we hear it? I know we heard it. I'm not going crazy. I literally heard it. Was it here? Maybe it was here. Hold up, y'all.
District Director for Congressman Tony Gonzales, who died by suicide in September. Police reports confirming the medical examiner's ruling. Santos-Aviles set herself on fire. The first officer on scene spoke with her as she lay burned on the front porch. She told him she learned her husband was cheating with her best friend and that she poured gasoline on herself and ignited it. Records show she may have...
That was her last words. Okay, so the husband was also cheating. So not only was she, having an affair, he was also having affairs, right? This is when all this went down.
May have called 911, telling dispatchers, quote, "I don't want to die." After she was rushed to the hospital, officers collected video evidence, including footage she sent a friend showing her pouring gasoline on herself. Home security video captured her alone in the backyard before using a torch lighter to ignite the fire. Police interviewed friends who had been with her hours earlier. They said she seemed sad, but not suicidal. She'd left her car and belongings at their home, planning to return later. One friend told investigators rumors of an affair had strained her marriage, but no details were included. Records show Uvalde police asked about the rumors that she may have been pregnant. The medical examiner says there were no findings of that. Congressman Gonzales is not mentioned in these documents. The big question now is why.
There you go. So, by the way, he did in this interview that I just showed you. Hopefully I'm not familiar with this channel, and I'll hit the like button, but it looks like a political channel. Apparently he did an interview with this guy right here. Let me make sure I hit the like button. Hopefully we're able to use this under fair use and we don't get struck. But I want to hear what he had to say. At the same time, the husband, he's not mentioning his affair, right? Please note that. But this political guy is still in the wrong for having affairs with staff, right? Not just anybody, but his own staff.
You've heard the story by now. His former aide killed herself in the most horrible way. U.S. Representative Tony Gonzales comes on my show for the first time to speak publicly about the allegations of an affair, the allegations of a boss taking advantage of a subordinate, allegations that he increased her pay because of a relationship. Did any of that happen? Gonzales speaks right now. Don't move. Was there a relationship with this young lady who was working in your office?
Very, very direct, Pags. I made a mistake, and I had a lapse in judgment, and there was a lack of faith, and I take full responsibility for those actions. Since then,
here's the question that I have. Is this the first time that we have had a lapse in judgment? The very first time that we had a lapse in judgment? That's what I want to know. Is this the first staffer? Is this, it's typically, in my opinion, when people are in situations like this, it's not the first time. There's probably other ones that have dealt with this.
I've reconciled with my wife, Angel. I've asked God to forgive me, which he has. And my faith is as strong as ever. When you make mistakes like this, it's never easy. It humbles you, but it's important to kind of work through it all. I look forward to the ethics committee starting an investigation. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to provide all the facts and all the details that lead to exactly what occurred in the entire situation.
It's the first time we've heard you respond to that. And it's none of my business what you do behind closed doors. It's none of anybody's business what you do, other than you're in a unique situation. As
No. But see, I disagree. It is our business when it's his own staff. If this man decided to have an affair, which whatever, okay, people do, y'all remember when the Ashley Madison situation happened? Okay. I didn't care about the actual, you know, these are people that we know they're politicians and they had to hire escorts and do all that other stuff. Okay, cool. That's them. But when you actually are targeting your own staff, it is our business. This isn't just a typical affair. It's somebody that was working under you. I think that's why we need to be concerned.
A U.S. representative, and you're also in the unique situation that you were the boss
Period.
of Regina Santos-Aviles. That puts a different dynamic in it. You're a military guy. You're a Navy guy. In fact, you're the highest ranked ever officer from the Navy to serve in the House of Representatives. I mean, higher ranked than Tim Walz, who claimed that he was the highest ranked. He wasn't. That said, do you understand the questions about a boss and a subordinate, somebody who has power and somebody who doesn't have power, and why that's such a big problem for people?
Yes.
It's an important issue. No, it's important. It's a serious issue that we have to talk about, that we have to get all the facts and all the details out there. And once again, I take responsibility for my actions. It's also important to know all the details and all the facts. And that's what the investigation is going to take place. So far, what you've seen is certain outlets only sharing certain information that is beneficial to them. And to be frank, Joe, this is Pags. This has been from day one. This has been about power and money. And you know, while others saw this kind of unfold, the opening of early voting, and you've seen that, and this has been
this is ridiculous. This is such a bad answer. Like what? That's why, right? Like this is why people shy away. It's these people with the family values, and I get it. Like, listen, I get it. I value my family. We get it. But listen, all of this is a front. That's what it seems like to me. Be very frank. When he talks about all this is about money and power, he's in a position of power. That in itself is just off the wall when you're targeting your staff this way. And I wonder if this was the first time.
They've been attacking me for months on this. But yes, it is important that we have the conversation on, workplace environment and making sure that that certain things do not take place.
The timing, obviously, and again, it's U.S. Representative Tony Gonzalez speaking out about the situation for the first time, and I appreciate you coming on. When it first came out, the timing was obvious. It was obviously set to come out right when early voting was going on. You still are going to be in a runoff with Brendan Herrera. He got a few more votes than you did last night at the end of the day, and we'll talk about your...
And this is where, although I'm not a fan of her husband, I do agree. This isn't about the politics stuff as much as the ethical stuff, right? Like, he is not, you're right, Cheeks, like, he's not under suspicion in her death, or is he? Because I haven't seen the messages. He gave a time frame that, the messages are, from this and that and the other. I'm more like, okay, like there was an abuse of power. I don't know. I remember us talking about, that's why I had that, like we talked about in September. So I was like, I feel like this story sounds very familiar. This is how all these people get compromised and coerced. There you go. We don't know what those messages look like. Did this affair, which tends to happen, in marriages, like, and it sounds like the husband wasn't a saint either, but he exposed things because he felt like they needed to be exposed. Now, let me see if I don't care about that other guy in that, but anyways.
Share all the different details on it. I will say there's a whole lot more to the story, that isn't out there. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you a little bit of what's kind of on my mind. Okay. When Miss Santos passed away, it was a shock to everyone. Some of the reports are saying that she was not thriving at work. It's exact opposite. She was thriving at work. She'd actually just delivered the state of Congress to one of our counties, She had just helped get funding for water resiliency in Uvalde and over $10 million for school.
The audacity for you to talk about that. I really like address the affair, and then he's going to talk about her work performance. Get the F out of here. I swear, is it just off to me? He's going to talk about her work ethic. Is something off here? Okay. Well, I'm glad that you gave her a raving review.
Safety in Uvalde. So she was thriving in everything. So when this happened on a Sunday. I got the call on a Sunday that she was in the hospital. Sunday morning, I found out an hour later that she had passed. Right. It was a shock to everyone. But this is the part of the story where it starts about money. Okay. Within hours, her estranged husband reached out to our office and asked about her death benefits and how he could gain access to her retirement fund.
How does he know? And he could be telling the truth here. Okay. But how does he know that he was estranged? That's that shit that is like, when you're not dating your stuff, you wouldn't know things like this, right? You wouldn't know who and what is doing what. You shouldn't care, right? That's interesting. Estranged husband, such a interesting word to use. Because I'm telling you, I mean, when I worked, I just, unless you're divorced, like, is it just me or what? It's weird.
This woman had just had a horrific
That was the
tragedy
same day?
within hours. The next day, he reaches out. It was eerie. It was creepy, but that was the beginning of this was about money. And then fast forward a few months. I'm not going to share everything, but I want to share some details with your audience. A few months later, his criminal defense attorney, which I also thought was weird, not a civil offense attorney, his criminal defense attorney reaches out and essentially asks me for money or else, right? They asked for $300,000. The thing, Pags, is I don't have $300,000. And if I did have $300,000, I'm not going to give it to somebody who's trying to shake me down. Yeah. So this was always about money.
I never heard this one. So the congressman is saying that the husband did a shakedown. Okay. Shakedown. All right.
Forward again. Now you add politics into it, right? All this thing was relayed, the beginning of early voting. So this was all coordinated. It was intentional. Once again, I take responsibility for my actions. I look forward to, I appreciate the opportunity to share all the details and all the facts with it. But, these are some of the things that no one else had heard before. The facts are I hadn't spoken with.
You're still a creep, though. Like, that doesn't, like, you shouldn't be in that position. You're still a creep. The husband could be trash too, but you're still a creep.
Santos since June of 2024. She passed September of 2025. That was over a year ago. So this is what I think is important as well, is this whole notion that I had anything to do with her death. I had absolutely nothing to do with her tragic passing. And in fact, I was shocked just as much as everyone else was.
Well, let me ask you this, because that's very important, Tony. It's Tony Gonzalez, U.S. Representative, District 23, the great state of Texas, embroiled in this scandal. Any and every headline that we see about this story makes the assertion, and I'm not saying it, but they make the assertion that she committed suicide because of you. You don't think you had anything whatsoever to do with it?
Absolutely nothing to do with it. And you know what? They do this intentionally, Pags. I mean, you cannot hate the media enough. There's a reason why I'm coming on your show. There's a reason why I reached out to you, and this alternative way of getting real information out is this was all very coordinated attack towards me for one thing, to get me to not vote. Prime example, to get me to
wait. This was coordinated. Was her death coordinated to attack you? That's what I don't get. It was. So it's the media's fault. What's the media's fault that you're being ethically investigated? I'm so confused by this. This is why I don't like politicians, man. Because you guys don't even know when your farts stink. Like, literally, I can't. Anyways, I cannot.
Not vote for the DHS package tomorrow, or to help President Trump agenda. And I'll give you a very specific thing. There is a Uvalde police report that it seems nobody wants to talk about and nobody wants to relay. Once again, this isn't my words. This isn't anyone else's
Tony,
words.
is that available to everybody? Because you sent me part of that report. Is that available for anybody to go and read?
It is available to everyone. And
why aren't they doing it? Then why aren't they reporting on it? Because there is some stuff in there that makes it clear that this had nothing to do with you.
All right, so I'm going to look for that report, and we'll probably talk about it tomorrow morning. I'll give you guys like a quick little rundown of this, but I want to finish this right here. If we can find the report and those text messages, we can definitely read them tomorrow, because this is interesting. I might say, I'm like, I don't know, sir. Did you have something to do? Or maybe was it the husband? Because apparently the husband could have set her up. That's what he's saying, but he's worried about losing his position. Okay.
I'm not condoning what you just admitted to a little while ago. I don't think you're condoning it. I'm not condoning a boss having power over. I understand that. I'm not condoning a boss having power over a subordinate, because I think that's an unequal balance of power. And I think that's not, maybe you fire somebody if you're attracted to them, you want to do whatever you want to do. All that said, nobody's reporting the Uvalde police report that you have shown me part of. Do you want to give some of that in this interview right now so that people can understand?
It is pages upon pages, but I will share just this one thing. One of the things that was relayed was, what was Ms. Santos's last words? And they try to make it all dramatic. In the police report, this is specifically from the police report, the female subject with burn injuries then stated her husband is gay and having an affair with her best friend. I wonder if that had something to do with her tragic passing.
That was in the actual police report that any...
I had to stop and pause because Baby Bunny came in, and I don't want her. Well, it's on my headphones, so she can't even hear everything at all. She can't hear nothing. So the husband is like, what? Did he just really say that? Hold up. What?
Was, what was Miss Santos's last words? And they try to make it all dramatic. In the police report, this is specifically from the police report, the female subject with burn injuries then stated her husband is gay and having an affair with her best friend. I wonder if that had something to do with her tragic passing.
That was in the actual police report that anybody can go and see. Any of these news outlets that have been following you around can go there and find that.
That's exactly right. And there's more details upon that as well of things that she said to police officers at the scene, to first responders at the scene. So once again,
oh my God. Yeah. So tell me, so now the husband is estranged and gay and cheating with a male friend. Oh, Lord have mercy. He said men rarely will admit to cheating. I think the husband cheating with his wife's best friend is lousy, and husband shouldn't have been trusted. Oh man. Thank you so much, Ronan, for telling him to hit the like button. Because like my gaydar went is not very well tuned. Oh shit. I was not expecting that one. I guess I hadn't watched this and I was like, okay, we definitely going to review this one tomorrow morning with I'm gonna have to find this report. We got to find this report.
Again, I had absolutely nothing to do with her tragedy. And matter of fact, every single statement, everything I've mentioned, I've always highlighted the great work that she had done for her office and the community. She was passionate about her role.
I don't know what it's offensive to know that this man was praising her for her great work when you're literally having an affair with her. Like, is it just me that it's like, can you read the room that even that sounds off?
And how she had given back, and all these outlets, they don't want to talk about her. They don't want to talk about, they don't. It's as if they don't care about her. It's simply to sell stories and newspapers, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. Representative Tony Gonzalez. Tony, there's a report that she got a 26% increase in pay. Did that have anything to do with your relationship with her? Did that happen? Did she get that increase?
Absolutely false. At no time was she reprimanded or rewarded in any form or fashion other than anyone else in the office. And that pay, once again, this is where they're telling half truths. That pay, the headline was she gets this pay raise in 2024. Okay. What they don't tell you is that pay raise was February of 2024, right? Okay. Before all these alleged incidents occurred. And oh, by the way, it was staff-wide. We did a staff-wide, which I regularly do. We did a staff-wide pay increase for those that were, performing well, and we included longevity into the situation as well.
So our merits, was it a merit increase? Because you could do a staff-wide increase, but you could do it like merit as well. Yeah, but apparently that's not part of family values. That's the problem, Cheeks, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, till death do us part, which literally means, right, that. And mind you, I value that vow. Don't get me wrong. But if somebody's cheating or there's something else going on or you're being abused, that's not what that means. It doesn't mean like you have to be killed and that's your death do you part. Doesn't work that way, right? At all. You said, is it Christine? You said, I don't know. I mean, he had an affair with a staffer. I think that this kind of thing happens every day in every single office, potentially. But I don't think it should be overlooked. If we normalize that kind of behavior, then yeah, I have a problem with it. What's wrong with him talking about her work? I wouldn't be talking about her work. It's the simple fact that it's like, if you had an affair with her, this should just be based on the fact that he's having an ethical investigation, right? That the ethics is reviewing him. Okay. It's really off to me that you're talking about someone you had an affair with. You're talking about her work, right? She's not here anymore. He's only doing this to defend himself. He's trying to clear his name. He's not trying to defend her. Do y'all understand that? That's why I'm like, it feels off to me to have him talk about her work as if like there was no affair or it's business as usual. Everybody's getting a raise. No. And to me, I can't accept. There might be shit like this happening every day. Probably. Absolutely. Maybe. But if I find out about it, I'm the one to fucking out it out. Right? Because that's what are we doing? It's one thing if he wanted to, Ashley Madison a situation, meet somebody in a hotel room that is not his staffer, That's different. But these are the same people that are like, well, we want this kind of leadership and it has to be this way and you have to do this. No, but y'all see, this is the kind of stuff that is hidden. So to me, he's not doing this to save her name. He's doing this to save his neck. There's nothing holy about this at all. But he was her boss as well. And they stopped talking over a year prior to her death. It doesn't take away from the behavior. I've worked in government. I've seen things like this. You're not supposed to, as a boss, you're not supposed to date. Even if it was a year and you guys stopped talking, you're not supposed to do any of this at all. And it gets even crazier as you climb up. You're not. And one thing that they tell you in government, I'll never forget. Somebody that I talked to in HR said this to me. If you work in government, if you're a civil servant, or if you're any kind of those positions, you're literally driving in a crystal car. Okay? Expect even your private life to be looked at. I don't care if it was a year. Sorry, that shit doesn't fly. Okay. And again, these are the same people that are talking about this value and that value when they're misusing their power within their own office. What?
They got bonuses, various different, promotion spot bonuses for performance. This was all standard. So at no time, once again, at no time was she ever reprimanded or rewarded in any form or fashion other than what she was already regularly happening within the entire staff.
Tony, she was reprimanded. Do you think that maybe she would be okay with that? She's having an affair with this guy. Okay.
And there was no formal complaints. There was no complaints of any issues whatsoever in any form or fashion that have ever been, relayed against my office.
I want to make sure that people watching and listening understand.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is I don't care if he's over here cheating on his wife, which, again, I take you back to Ashley Madison when all these political people were exposed to. That's their issue. They got some, but when it's somebody within the office, you're talking about a whole different thing, and he should be automatically removed for that. Everybody, even I'm sorry to say it, but she should have lost her job too. You have to go at it all the way. And maybe for me, it's like, because when I worked in government, I worked in the leadership position, and shit really hits the fan. Guys, there's lawsuits out there that happen when you're using city money, county money, government money for different things. And then you're finding out, it can get messy, man. That's what I'm saying. It needs to be all even. She was so happy at work. Okay. Like, huh?
You admitted to a relationship. You didn't say the extent of it. You said you're dealing with it at home. You're dealing with it with your lovely wife. That's for you and your family to deal with. But there are people professionally who you work with, who you rub elbows with every day. Anna Paulina Luna, I think she's great. I have her on the show all the time. Nancy Mace, I think she's great. I have her on the show all the time. They're both saying you have to resign. How can you possibly be effective continuing as a representative for this great district, knowing that there are people in your own party that don't want to work with you?
And that could be that what she's going to say, well, I feel like I'm targeting. They want my job.
There's people in your party, the other party. You're always going to have political enemies. Is the way it goes.
Have you spoken with those that I just mentioned?
No, I don't speak with those two on a regular basis. I'd say we operate in different groups, if you will. Okay. But what I will say is you can never let those people slow you down in any form or fashion. I represent one of the most difficult districts in the country, Pags. You know this. You know of all the border issues that we've had. It's a
gigantic border district. You and I have talked about it a million times. I get it. That's why I asked the question, Tony. I like you as a guy, and I don't dislike you as the representative. But if you've got people on your side who are not willing to say that you're part of the group that can do good things for the district, what are people in the district to think? I mean, Herrera got more votes than you last night. It's going to be a runoff. He only lost by 407 votes last time. Can you survive this, Tony? I mean, that's the professional question that people in that district want answered. Again, you're a big enough man to say you made a mistake. You're dealing with it at home. I get all that. You've made very, very direct, quotes from the Uvalde police report about what this poor young woman on her deathbed was saying before she died. So clearly, in my mind, it's not about you. But
he's trying to save his ass. Okay, this came out. And it came out because of text messages. That's what happened. Okay. That's how it is. That's what happened. People look into things. And the husband exposed it. Okay. He has his own. I'm not saying he doesn't sound like he's a saint at all. Okay. Just that's how it is. Hey, the boss bitch. Thank you for for renewing your membership. I just don't like it. It's weird. All of this is weird.
Professionally, you've got to work with these people in the House of Representatives. And the two that I mentioned are very, very well-liked people in the House of Representatives. Can you be effective for that district?
I absolutely can, and I am. I also say my style, you know, I could say other things about other members, but that's not my style. My style is I can either focus on what other people are saying and doing, or I can focus on what I have to say and do. And I'll give you a prime example. I don't get the opportunity to take days off in this district. This is a very difficult district, from screwworms, this parasite that's trying to kill our ag industry and our wildlife industry in South and West Texas, to just today, literally hours ago, on one of our checkpoints in Sierra Blanca, there was an armed assailant that shot at law enforcement officers, and he was killed. This is another piece of information I want to give you. I spoke with Border Patrol agents on the scene there in Sierra Blanca.
Okay, again, calls to resign, yada yada yada. All right, let me go back. Can he survive politics? I think he needs to get out.
The scandal that we all keep hearing about. President Trump endorsed you, didn't pull his endorsement. Mike Johnson endorsed you, did not pull his endorsement.
Well, then that says a lot about them, doesn't it? It says how they see ethics, right?
And once again, has done an incredible job with a slim majority. Those that are asking for me not to do my job are the ones that want to see the Republicans fail here in Congress. There's no time.
This is bullshit. See what I'm saying? It's like, wait a minute. How do you stand? Let me ask you guys a question. How do you stand on family values with people that willfully engage in relationships with their own staff? And the only reason why this mother effer is even talking right now is because he's trying to save himself. That's all. He doesn't care about her. She's gone. And you know what? Had those messages not been exposed, even though the husband looks a little grimy, in my opinion, too, and he's probably got an agenda too, right? Extort him, whatever it may be. Had those messages not been exposed, he wouldn't be sitting there right there. Okay? This is BS, and he needs to be removed. It's one thing. They find his ass over there on a, Craigslist or whatever prostitution. That's his business. But when you're doing it within your own house, within your own office, messaging them, talking about what's your favorite position, what the hell is that? And then everybody else, I have their endorsements. It's okay. Well, you know what that tells me is that they don't see family values the same way that most folks do, right? It's bullshit. It's gross. It's cowardice. Anyways, Brendan Herrera needs to take his place. He's a stand-up honest dude. There you go. Whoever. Thank you so much, Ronan, for the $5, by the way. Thank you. Mercy Miami. From my understanding, her coworkers exposed it. How much you want to bet? Let me put his sad little face away. How much you want to bet? You think this is the first one? And I'm only asking a question. I don't know. Could be, couldn't be. But if you're so comfortable sending text messages that you as a public servant, as an elected official, know that they could be exposed, because let me tell you something. Emails from government, whatever government, people can go into my emails when I worked in government. That's all public record, guys. So I have been very appropriate with my staff when I worked in government. It's the same thing with this guy. Okay? It's the same. How do you not know that your text messages are of public record? Did we just wake up? For me, it's like I have to kind of wonder, wait a minute, has he been inappropriate with other people too? Because for you to send a text message in the early morning to your staff or to ask them, what is your favorite position? That, my friends, is something that is just off the wall. You are too comfortable. Okay? Too comfortable. And some of y'all may be like, I don't see the big deal. I see the big deal. I don't care if he's out there and he's cheating on his wife with an prostitute or whatever it may be. That's his business. But when you're doing it within the office, that's a little bit different. Okay? That's for your wife to forgive over there when it comes to a person that you decide to just sleep around with. That's fine. But when you're doing it with somebody that you have leadership over, that's working for you, and then the audacity to sit there and talk about she did a great job. She was great. What? Where do you get at? Are you sure you're okay? Is that family values? Get out of here, man. I swear these people are ridiculous. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I can't, and I won't, and I reject. That's it. I reject. All right. I do. I don't know, man. Nobody's perfect. Okay. But I'll tell you one thing. One thing that I learned is you don't shit where you eat. Okay. You don't. All right, guys, this was supposed to be a quick live, and it is. I think I kept it under an hour. First of all, thank you so much for supporting the channel, y'all. I know I went on a tangent. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna see if I can find the documents so we can review it tomorrow, because I'm totally down to review this. Like, if y'all see those documents, let me know. Let me know. As long as you ain't using public monies to pay for the lady of the night. Thank you. Or a credit card. If you're not traveling during the time, that's the other thing too. Travel will get you in trouble. All these things. I cannot. And like I said, I'll be the first one to call it out. I've called out some shit at work. Okay. It's hard and it puts you in a bind. It does. But you have to do it. Because then if they find out that you knew some shit and you didn't say anything, guess what? Then you're in trouble. No. I'm not doing all that. That's crazy work. I will let you guys go. Yes, all emails are public. I had to be careful when I used it because they would, all emails are public. If you're working in government, all your emails are public. Okay. So anybody, a journalist can pull my emails and say, I got to investigate, which whatever, hopefully I was nice in emails. One thing I didn't have was affairs. That's for sure. As well as text messages. All of that is public record. They can pull that. So I don't know what the hell he was thinking. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, that's just my thought. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, guys. Hit the like button. Bye, guys.